Okay, so the references tab. So this is what you'll have access to 5 to 7 days before the simulation starts. And this, okay, so this is the stuff that everybody's talking about printing. So for me, I like to make notes. During the courses and doing the readings, as you know, I started taking notes in course number 1, and halfway through I stopped because I had Pass It available. That was kind of like my note-taking-ish kind of thing. But in any event, so during the courses, I didn't take any notes and I still was able to pass fine, even though I'm normally a note taker. So during this simulation class, because I kept hearing that it's very intense and you go over a lot of information in a very short span of time, I'm like, you know what, to pass this thing, because there's no pass it for the simulation class, I'm like, you know what, I better take notes. So I knew right off the bat I'd have to print off these things. So I wonder, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the email I sent to Humber, because I was so disappointed that when I looked at, I downloaded the booklet and the workbook for each day, and it was like 350 pages altogether, and to print it at Staples, it came up to like $58, and I'm like, oh, holy. And then I went to checkout because I'm like, I want to see the shipping options and stuff. But luckily I had same day pickup, but then they didn't even add taxes on yet. So after taxes, this book was $75. So I sent Humber a professionally argumentative email, just saying my disappointment, because there's people who have gone through this simulation class in person before the quarantine, and they were provided all of these same materials for, well, if not for free, like it was accounted for in the price that they're charging us. So there's no extra fees for them to get the printed material. So now that we're in quarantine, the price hasn't changed. We still have access to the electronic versions, but now if we want that same opportunity to write on paper for the same materials, we have to cough up an extra $75. And on top of all these other fees that are coming every which way, like, it's complicated. So I just sent an email just explaining my concern and my disappointment. Oh, you know what, let me just read it. Well, I can't find the emails. But in any event, I was just disappointed. In order to be put at that same advantage that other people had with the printed material, I had to cough up, not just me, all of us, some of us would have to cough up the extra $75. If not more. A lot of people didn't even realize how much pages it was and started printing from their home, their printer at home and their ink. I don't think one person that at least who commented, not one person was able to print everything with an ink cartridge, with the ink cartridge that they had. Everybody had to go out and buy more ink. So doing it this way, definitely convenience, but I was just disappointed that Humber was not able to provide any kind of compensation. Like, I asked them, you know what, this is something that would have been provided. Can you guys consider printing it the same way you did and having it mailed to us, or having it as a pickup location, or giving us a credit to the course, or giving us a credit at a local printing station, either Staples or I don't know if Walmart does printing, but like FedEx or just something. And I went back and forth with this one lady. She wasn't having it. I said, you know what, can you kindly forward this on to Miguel, because I would like to discuss it with him, because I don't think it's a fair advantage. And Miguel just said nothing different, that it's not mandatory to print it, which obviously I know, but they have it available online. But having it available online and in print, two completely different things. And I don't regret printing it because of all the different screens and stuff you would have to go to while doing it online, and having the Sims while having the Zoom up, and having to do the workbook, and having to do the booklet, like I wasn't all about that. It's complicated, especially if you just have one screen. If you have multiple screens going, awesome. So in any event, I was disappointed by that fact by Humber, but you know what? I said, you know what? I gotta go on. I gotta do me. So I kept the receipt and I am filing it for taxes as a business expense. So pro tip for you guys. Okay, so in any event, so one thing I did learn, which I do wish I knew about beforehand, is, let me show you on here. So I printed it all as one book. I wish I did two. So each day there's two books. So there's the participant workbook and then the forms booklet. So there's day one for that, day two for that. There's day two workbook, day two booklet. So I wish I had printed all of the workbooks in one book and then a second booklet for the booklet day one, like, you know what I mean. Because when you're in the workbook, you often have to refer back to the booklet. So it was hard for me, and I printed everything in sequential order. So this is day one workbook and then day one booklet, day two workbook, day two booklet. So I would be on one page doing something and then have to flip back to the other pages to look at the booklet. So that's my only tip that I wish I had known. So maybe you guys can go ahead and use that. But other than that, that's what they look like. You click it here, it opens up a screen. Make sure you don't print directly from here, that you go ahead and download these as a PDF first and then print from there.